gonna touch me. You not gonna do nothing. You are not above me. I bet you wish you was me. I know it, I know.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes my boy, Tortua. That's Brian Lamanna, the Tortua. What is poppin', everybody?
What's happening?
How's everybody doing today?
Good. This is a subdued Conrad Open today.
You know, we tried to switch it up. Yeah.
Okay, respect.
Right.
We'll just see what was going on.
I didn't want to blow anybody's eardrums out.
I didn't like it. I'll never do it again.
No, it was like the golf edition. Maybe Liv is hiring and got yourself another gig.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll probably pay you $100 million.
I mean, that sounds fucking
Fair.
fair.
Definitely
Honestly,
fair.
market value,
Fair.
probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds right.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Berkey, you hear that? Market value?
I, for one, appreciated the Open, Conrad.
Berkey wants the Open to be like that.
I actually should
every
have cut
day.
to Berkey because he was doing like a little golf clap, it was nice.
Yeah. Cool.
No.
Yeah.
Yo, did you see some of these reports that are coming out now? Rory passed up $500 million to go to LIV.
What?
Tiger passed up upwards of 800
Yeah,
800 million
is what
Hold on. Rory passed up $500 million?
to protect the PGA brand.
Oh,
Incredible.
no.
Here's what I don't follow. And again, like, I want to preface this with I don't really watch much golf outside of, Sundays during a major to see the final stretch. But, I mean, I would never guess these people can't be bought.
For $500 million?
Like, that's not their earning potential staying at the PGA, right?
No, fuck no.
No, but
There's no
some
way.
people, money's not the only driving factor.
Oh, Tiger Woods' money isn't the only driving factor. This guy's a high integrity individual all of a sudden.
I'm sure he's got enough.
You know how much extra pussy you can get with $750 million?
Honestly,
I don't
when it
think
comes,
he would get any more.
It's true.
I think he's at max level.
Max capacity.
Yeah, it's not like
He's
not like you
charged up.
add another like 750. Like what? Oh, like there's a few girls waiting up. Like,
Well,
you know, when
remember-
he gets another $250 million, I'm gonna go for him. But that
Bear
he's too
in
poor.
mind, he lost a lot of his sponsorship money when
I
all
know.
that shit went
I
out.
think he gained a lot of it back.
And he was still so
Did he though?
rich.
He's still so rich, and he's still
Yeah, no. I mean, nobody's debating whether or not the man is rich.
Right.
He's
And I mean,
clearly
Rory
rich.
also is, doing just fine. Like I think it's almost like I don't know what Rory's financials look like. Like I don't know if he has, 50 million, 100 million, maybe less, but I think maybe, you get to that point where like my life is not going to change that much.
Yeah.
Like I'm already like have more money than I could know what to do with, so I'm not gonna like
It's
challenge my integrity.
It's not only that; it's almost the fact that like a lot of these people like golf is like the old man classic, right? Everybody like it's a very niche group,
Yeah.
and I think that basically they grew up watching the PGA. Like they grew up like this is the tour, and and they have some type of like loyalty to it.
That's what I was saying the other day, and you were telling me I was wrong, and that LIV would just pop up a random Augusta somewhere in the
No.
middle of Dubai.
Hold on, I'm talking about players versus the watchers, viewers. I'm talking players.
Well, yeah, but like those two things generally go hand in hand. There is no prestige if the audience doesn't perceive there to be.
I mean, I just think that LIV could have put out a competing product, like was going to put out a competing product over time. And
I think that they would put out a product, whether or to the degree at which it competed, I think is where we differ in our in our debate. I equated it. I was talking to Landon about it after the show, and I equated it to like the XFL and the NFL. Like, sure, the XFL could gain some traction, but it'll literally just never be the NFL. And the big reason why isn't even necessarily because NFL was first to market or they have all this history or anything like that. That stuff all helps. But the biggest aspect of it is that they just have the television market cornered.
Yeah.
And it's
No
impossible.
big network is going to pick them
Right.
up, like an ABC, a CBS.
Yeah, they already tried this, right? I think it was when the XFL first launched. There's a big documentary about it on ESPN. I think it was the 30 for 30. I can't remember. It might have been Fox.
I want to say it was Fox. That was the first network that came to my mind.
Yeah,
It just seems
but-
like Fox
right.
just fits that.
Exactly. It could have actually been NBC at the time.
Right, because Fox already had.
Football,
Already
right.
had
So it actually might have
NFL.
been NBC at the time because it was before Sunday Night Football was a thing.
Yeah.
And they were all in. I can't remember who the network exec was, but him and Vince McMahon were like very, very close friends, and they had done a ton of business in the past, and he was just all in on the XFL.
Oh, it was Ted Turner, right?
No.
Are we sure?
No. I'm not positive, but I'm
don't think
pretty
so.
confident that would have came to mind. I'm almost positive it was NBC, but either way, it doesn't really matter. It was a major network, and they tried to be the alternative to the NFL and invest heavily in it because they knew that television was the path to do it. But both sides ended up just like totally dropping the ball. The whole thing fucking collapsed and never stood a chance.
So the reason why I see a difference here is because the talent. So when it comes to XFL and NFL, talent.
Yo, you hating on he hate me?
He hate me.
Fucking Rob Smart, baby.
That's
He was the
old
best.
school.
Yep.
He hate me, baby. Let's go.
What the fuck are you old people
Talent.
talking about?
This guy's talking.
those are running backs.
He's saying on fucking touchdown Tommy, baby.
I know.
Tommy
Jeez.
Maddox, MVP in the XFL.
That's right. Do you not remember when the XFL came out where
No.
like you didn't have to like have your last name on the back of your shirt. You could
be
have whatever
whatever
you
you
want.
wanted.
And one guy had "He hate me" was on the back of his shirt. Rob Smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Put some
he
respect
ended up
on his name.
He ended up going to the NFL and
I
actually
think
having
the
a decent
Giants.
career, right?
I think the Giants picked him up for a year or two.
Yeah. I think he played for a decent amount. Maybe
I don't know for how long,
yeah.
but it was honestly kind of
was
like
good.
the And One tour,
Yeah.
where like one guy.
Yeah.
I can't remember if Maddox came to the NFL after XFL or if he went to XFL after he was done with the
Was
Steelers.
he XFL or Canadian League?
I think I'm pretty sure he was the MVP of the XFL.
Okay.
Canadian was Flutie.
Mm.
He was the big one who made the transition. Also, Jim Kelly.
Yeah.
Jim Kelly was originally drafted by the Bills, ironically.
He's
and
a local guy
yeah, from
from Western PA.
he's from up near Katanning. In it starts with an E. My stepdad was from there. I can't
He's from
remember.
Butler. Not from Butler?
It's
I
all
don't know.
the same area, but
Yeah.
it starts with an E, and I can't remember the name of the town. It's very tiny. My stepdad was from there. He was the claim to fame. But
So-
the irony was Kelly hated cold weather. So when Buffalo drafted him, he was like, I ain't fucking going there, man. I left Pittsburgh for Miami for a reason, and I ain't going back.
So Tommy Maddox had a pretty
Illustrious?
long moving around career.
Yeah.
Broncos 92 to 93, Rams 94, Giants 95 96, Falcons 97, New Jersey Red Dogs in 2000 in the AFL.
Oh. That's the Arena Football League.
Yep.
That's
and then
maybe what he was gonna do.
2001, he played for the Los Angeles Extreme
There
for
you
the
go.
XFL.
There you
Won
go.
the MVP? Am I right about that?
I'm unsure. XFL champion. Yep, you're right.
Nice.
And then he went to the Steelers from 2001 to 2005.
And I want to be on record to say that I fucking hated this man. I hated him with a passion. I hated this whole lineage of Neil O'Donnell derivatives. I hated Neil O'Donnell when he was there. That motherfucker threw the Super Bowl. You can't tell me otherwise. I don't know what he was paid to throw those 2 picks to Brown, but like he was clearly paid off. I hate Jersey because of him, specifically because of him. I hated him. I hated Bubby Brister before him.
they all hate you too.
I hated Mike
Ken
Tom.
Graham.
I hated Mike Tomzak after him.
Ken Graham.
Ken Graham never really got any starts though.
Yeah, he did. He started for like a whole year, man.
No,
It was a terrible year.
Yeah, of course it was a terrible year. I
I
blocked
think
out
they
of my
made the
head.
playoffs.
Back to what I was saying.
Blocked out of my head.
The only reason why I think it's different is because the talent was going to LIV, where the talent
Yeah.
is not going to XFL.
You're right. You're
this
right
could-
about that.
And
for sure.
when there's so much money involved, it could have just created a divide, and they could have just put out a better product that eventually caught wind, or
that's I think that's the debatable thing though, is specifically something like golf, which is relatively insulated. How much does the talent pool outshine the actual overarching product, right? So in other words, how much does having the number one golfer in the world as a part of your tour matter by comparison to just having the Masters?
I mean, so look at this from what I see from the PGA's eyes, right? there was no talk about any LIV PGA merger at all, right?
No, they were actually at war. They were in court.
Exactly. Very secretive. Now, Koepka, which is a LIV golfer, comes out and wins a major.
Yeah.
Immediately, they merge.
Yeah, I think you might be reading a little bit.
Listen, I'm reaching, but there is something there. You're taking their best golfers.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that point.
It's just I don't know.
All right, here's my counter argument. We don't know what the details of this deal are, but do you think this merger still occurs if LIV doesn't throw billions of dollars at the PGA? So if there's some sort of negotiation where it's okay, we'll give you back all of your talent. We just want to be a title sponsor. And in return, we'll give you back all of these guys that we paid hundreds of millions for. Do you think PGA would just be cool, that's all we really wanted?
Yeah, I guess.
I think that there's just 9 figures getting tossed around.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's money being
because
tossed.
at the end of the day, PGA still has the market cornered for TV, and that's $1 billion revenue generator.
So why do we think that LIV wants to be a title sponsor?
I don't necessarily think that. I think what's ultimately going to occur is something along those lines, though, where the PGA Tour will still exist the way that it exists. Again, I'm speculating. I don't know a lot about this stuff, but my best guess is they'll preserve the PGA Tour as it is, and then start to incorporate some LIV Tour events into the majors.
Yeah,
and that's just a guess. I truly don't know what they haven't.
That seems right for a merge.
Yeah, that seems like it makes the most sense to me, and it seems like it's also the easiest way to start to bring that side of the world into the realm of golf.
Yeah,
I would say, because right now it just seems to largely be an American and European.
Yeah, it could be
sport.
A fully global.
Right,
and I think that might also be LIV's selling point.
It's tough, bro. Making golf courses in the desert is no small endeavor.
Guess what?
Listen, you know how many there are in Vegas?
You know how many sand traps there are in Saudi Arabia?
You know how many golf courses are in Vegas? Believe me, they can do it.
Honestly, I think that's why Lake Mead is turning up dead bodies at this point.
See, Michelle blames it on me watering my tomato plants. I don't know.
I can see Brian just sitting outside for an hour, just sitting there with the hose, watering his plants, looking at the sky.
It's what? Watering my plants. She's like, oh, there goes Lake Mead. Jesus. Listen, you're not going to get me, Chauncey.
You should let her know that you're doing everybody a service. This is going to turn up more dead bodies, which is more $5,000 rewards.
Right. Yeah.
Bro, Chauncey is
Think about the
aggro
families.
these days.
Think about the families from the 70s who have been wondering what happened to Uncle Jimmy for so long. All this time they thought he was buried in a hole in the desert. Nope. Dead smack in the middle of Lake Mead.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew?
That's like the old bait and switch, right? Everyone thinks they're all buried in the desert. Nope, they're in Lake Mead.
Yeah.
They're out there trying to find them in the desert.
Yeah, it's our only water source. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Drain it? God, what a time to be alive, man.
I don't like this conversation. Next topic.
What?
The world's a scary place, young man.
Yeah.
Next topic. Next topic.
Next topic. All right, next topic.
Oh, shit. Oh, never mind. Go on.
Oh, I thought you were about to rub in my face where I was about to segue. But before we segue, I gotta give a huge shout out to our title sponsor, WPT Global. I want to make sure that I get this one right. Very small print. God damn, so small. Did you know WPT Global is trusted by millions of online players in 60 plus countries and has the world's largest pool of recreational players, including Tom Wheaton? That's right. That's right. Uncle Tom is on there, firing at will every single day. So you guys better go get a chunk of that cash. As an Only Friends podcast fan, you can get a deposit welcome bonus of upwards of $1,200 and a free Sunday Slam tournament ticket. Just use code Berkey at sign up. Go ahead and click the link in the description below if you're in a qualifying territory and you want to sign up. Get that big bonus code. Also, we'll be giving away a $330 SummerSlam ticket every day this week. Just head over to the Only Friends Twitter account. That's at onlyfriends_pod. Give us a follow and just comment on the Twitter thread what your username and user ID is. We'll draw one name at random each day, and give you guys a free shot into the 3:30 main event.
Can we change the code to Uncle Tom, please?
No. Why are you always trying to do this to us, man? You're supposed to be our friend.
Uncle Tom's out there blasting, though.
I'm sure Tom's an uncle to someone. He's daddy to Landon, but he's uncle to me. Papa Tom.
Papa Tom, help.
I call him DJT.
DJT.
Dad joke Tom.
Yeah.
My kind of guy.
That's fitting.
Yeah.
My favorite joke to make when I see Tom is every time I see him, he'll be like, talking about the kids and their vacation and all this other stuff. And I'll just be like, man, can you believe we're the same age? Crazy.
Oh, man.
He's a Zoomer at heart.
He is a Zoomer at heart. Busting for real.
I guess,
No cap.
I think we need Tom to do an ad read saying words like that.
I agree, actually. That dinner we had with him, Nikki, and Caitlin was incredible.
Yeah, we called him, his name turned from Tom to Zaddy Todd.
Todd, yeah. Todd.
Slay Daddy Todd.
Slay Daddy Todd.
Slay Batty, Slay Daddy, Slay Zaddy Todd.
That's right.
That's right.
Where I thought you were transitioning into, Conrad, was rubbing in my face how fucking good the Reds look.
Oh, I mean, that was next. I was waiting, for the perfect time.
Well, TJ's on the Reds, so.
TJ is on the Reds, and
TJ.
I believe he's making a run at an All-Star appearance.
He damn sure is. He's playing good.
Yeah, he's playing really well. His stats are actually good. It's very quiet, though. So for you guys who don't know, TJ Friedel, I believe, spends time both in right and center for the Reds. Local guy here in Vegas. Actually was born in Pittsburgh. Spent first few years of his life near the Mount Lebanon area, but trains at the gym that Landon and I go to. So we've gotten to know him pretty well, rooting for him, rooting against the Reds, obviously. But they got some nice young talent coming up. We got a young man who made his debut 2 days ago.
Yeah.
A couple days
How
ago.
fucking tall is this kid?
I mean, he's basically the Reds' O'Neal Cruz.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah,
He's
they have a
6'7"?
Cruise, we have a Cruise.
Legitimately.
Except the only thing that's better about De La Cruz is he's 2 or 3 years younger than Cruz.
Look at this fucking animal.
Yeah. That was 458 feet.
He didn't even move.
All right, so,
I mean, it's very...
so there are a few stats about this home run that are worth pointing out.
Right.
That I read.
The exit velocity.
One, it was 4 feet off the ground. Right? It was a 4 foot high pitch, which is a relatively high pitch. Like, it was out of the strike zone is my point. This guy's fucking tall. I don't know how tall he is. O'Neal Cruz is what, 7 or 6'7"?
6'7".
Okay,
yeah.
this kid is up there.
He's close. Yeah,
he's
they
6'5",
have a very,
6'7".
very similar body build, body type.
Yeah.
So he's like 21 years old. I think
He's 6'2".
No way.
Yeah.
he's 6'2".
He's 6'2", 150.
That's
Bro,
amazing.
He looks
There's
like
no way
a
that guy's
giant.
150.
Dude, he's 6'2", 150, switch
he's
hitter,
skinny.
throws right, shortstops, third baseman.
150.
21 years old.
Imagine
6'2"?
Imagine when he fills out.
Yeah.
He's just going to be.
Yeah, he's only 21.
He's already destroying balls.
Yeah, he's only 21. We saw that evolution with Jeter. If anybody watched the ESPN the Captain series, they like started following him from 18. He was such a scrawny little kid
They
when
all
he came
are.
up,
They
man.
all, yeah. And then they fill out. That's the
I
thing.
can't believe he's only 6'2". He looks so fucking tall.
Yeah, well, he's so lanky. That's why he's like
Yeah.
skinny and lanky, and it just makes you appear. I mean, 6'2" is not short, you know.
Yeah.
But
so the other thing about this home run, it traveled. I think I read something like it traveled 168 feet in the air or something along those lines, and it was picked up on radar at the local airport.
No,
Come on.
it's funny because
Come on,
again.
it could have been picked up on radar.
We didn't show the actual broadcast, but the Reds announcer said that ball had a family. That ball had a family.
It was 458 feet.
458 feet, 114 point something exit velocity, which is the hardest hit ball that the Reds had all year. This is why it's so reminiscent of O'Neal Cruz, because that's what he did. He came up to the majors for the Pirates, and
He had a wall scraper for his first one.
He
but
immediately had his first couple weeks. He had the top 5 exit velocities on the Pirates.
Prior to this one, his first hit was a double off a ball that was, I think it was 101 miles an hour thrown. And it was also up in the zone. Yeah. And he hit it 112 mile an hour exit velocity. Something insane. He pulled it.
It's amazing. That's what it's very, like I said, it's very similar to O'Neal Cruz. He did the same thing. It was 100 mile an hour pitch. He just turns on it and just pulls it right down the line. How do you do that? Your bat speed has to be incredible.
As much fun as it was to watch a new talent, which obviously this guy's going to be around for a long time, and he's got the 5 tools. It would appear.
Yeah.
I still just get amped. I don't even know a lot of the Reds players. So this guy is just a nobody to me. But I get so amped whenever things happen in sports that just cause a reaction. So this was, I believe they walked off the Dodgers yesterday. Is that right?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Yep. So this is a walk-off home run.
6 in the 8th, one
which
on.
Is for anybody who's in the 9th. For anybody who's played baseball, this is the shit you dream of.
Let's fucking go! That's amazing. Oh.
This guy's my new favorite player.
Honestly, it's one of the most fun things that can happen in sports.
I tweeted that that's how I'm going to react when I finally get a 3-bet through pre-flop.
The Reds Twitter account posted and said, "Does anybody have a spare brick wall that we can run through?"
Yeah.
Honestly, you just can't help but getting hyped whenever you see something like that.
That was pretty dope.
Hopefully, this is as much shine as we give the Reds for the rest of the fucking
season.
season.
Hopefully. Yeah.
They're down 6-0 right now.
Yeah, of course they are. They stink.
You stink.
Pirates took fucking 10 of 12 from them.
Oh, yeah.
Pirates also stink right now.
Man, their last 3 games. I mean, they played literally the worst team maybe ever to be assembled on a major league field.
Yeah, and they gave up 30.
And they almost got swept. They were lucky to win the first one, and they just looked awful. So I don't know what's going on. They look so good against the Cardinals. Swept them. It was great. And
did they pull Keller early? Was it yesterday or the day before?
No, he was awful. Keller just couldn't find the zone, couldn't command pitches, couldn't do anything.
Right, but the game was close.
The game was close.
It was 2-2 or 3-2.
No, he walked a bunch of people. They took him out in the fifth. He didn't get through the fifth.
Yeah, he
didn't get through the fifth. He had a bunch of pitches. He looked awful. He needed to be pulled.
Yeah, fair. My point in asking is that it was a 1-run game when they pulled him. And then I look up, and it's 11-2.
Yeah. Well, no, all those runs, he ended up, all the runs that were scored in the fifth were his runs.
Oh, okay.
So he had loaded the bases, and they're okay.
Yeah.
You just don't have a kid.
Yeah, nice whenever your ace goes out and fucking shits down his leg versus a 12-win team.
Yeah, it was strange. I don't know. Something was going on with him. The old Fort McHenry was trying to figure it out. Our old catcher, he was saying that he was not coming through. I don't know. I don't understand the mechanics of.
Nobody does. That's why, as a broadcaster, you just get to speculate.
Yeah. But whatever he said sounded like it made sense.
Sure,
so hopefully, him and the pitching coach do some work in these next couple days, and he goes out and pitches well.
This is what coaches have done since the dawn of time, and it's the least helpful thing on the fucking planet. You come in and they're like, "Oh, you're swinging your front shoulder open." I
think that's exactly what he said.
Yeah, of course it is. Because it's what they always say whenever you miss wide, and it's just thanks, coach. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little.
But he called it something like running down the mountain. You ever heard that term?
No.
Where it's your front foot is coming forward too fast before your arm is.
Oh, right.
So your arm's back too far, and then what it does is it tends to push the ball he had a lot of pitches high and away.
Yeah.
And it was just very weird. And he's saying because of where his arm was when his leg hit, his front leg. There's pivot leg, whatever. Or
yeah,
plant
this is
leg.
fascinating stuff. I'd love to hear more.
I don't know. This is just. I'm just concerned. We got one good pitcher. We can't have him go down the drain.
I will say, as somebody who's pitched, it's fucking impossible when something small mechanical is going on to make adjustments.
Yeah,
because
especially not in game.
Well, it doesn't matter. In game, out of game, it doesn't matter. It's honestly like it's equivalent to like showing up to play poker, and for whatever reason, mentally, your B game is just all you're capable of that day. It's just like you can hear 1,000 things that you're doing wrong and try to correct them, but you don't know the source. You don't know why today your arm is dragging, why today your front side's flying open. Yeah. Like you don't know why these things are happening because you've done this repetitively 10,000 times.
Yeah.
And for some reason, today's the day that shit ain't going to work. Like, just get me out.
Yeah.
We'll try again tomorrow.
Just be fatigue, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, there's a million core causes. It's just like impossible to dissect and diagnose in real time. And that's all coaches do. It's like,
well, people try to tell you what your problem is.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe he had to poop.
It might have had to poop. Could have had to poop. Just you drag a little bit. All right, let's talk a little poker. You guys fired on all cylinders yesterday. Every one of you played it combined. This room played like 10 buy-ins yesterday.
I only played one buy-in.
I played one buy-in.
Wait. You played one. I played one. Conrad had to play 8 then.
Yeah.
Well, I played one.
I played one.
That's right. You played the 25.
The day before, I played a billion.
I can't believe you only played one yesterday.
I was a Grammy.
Oh yeah.
I went down to the South Point. Grammy was in the bowling tournament. So
how'd she do?
She did all right. It seems her team. It was a team thing. So her team looked like they came in like top 5.
Okay. What's the name of her team? Because these names are always great.
Let's get it popping.
No, it's something corny. It's like this big.
Of course, it's corny.
It's this big group. It's like East Coast Bowling Family or something like that.
That's
something real corny.
Very wholesome.
It's the ECBF.
My grandmother bowled until she was like 80. She was in a league. And she was a part of a team called the Gutter Gals.
Oh, amazing. The Gutter Gals.
Gutter Gals.
She took me on technically my first date. Although I think if you ask Maria, it wasn't a date. But it was me, her, and my best friend at the time. We went bowling. I was like 14. And my grandmother just fucking embarrassed me.
Of course.
She rolled like a 210. And I'm out there like can't get my fat thumb in the fucking ball.
At 14, you had fat thumbs?
Bro, I've had these fucking meat paws from like day one, man. Like all it took was one scout looking at my hand going, you don't got it, kid. Yep. Go play first base.
Shout out to Lee's Lanes.
Lee's Lanes. That smoky fucking dungeon.
I love that place.
God.
Is that a thing with pitching? You want to have like
long, slender fingers.
Like alien type, like piano fingers.
Oh my God.
Pedro is like physically tiny. He's a physical tiny human.
He's like 5'10", right?
At most, like probably closer to 5'8", 5'9". But he has very long arms, and his fingers are just like alien-like.
Dude, speaking about aliens were here last month.
I saw that.
I did hear that there was some confirmation.
They were here fucking 2 days ago. You didn't see Chad win another bracelet?
Dude, no, there was like a full-on like news investigation. Hold on, I gotta. Well, hold on. Let's go around the room. Aliens, real? Yes, no, maybe.
Fermi's paradox.
What is
like gun to the head?
Yeah, I mean, probabilistically, yes.
I would say it's more likely to be true than not.
Yeah.
I fully believe aliens exist. I doubt they've ever been here.
Connie?
Y'all motherfuckers are weird, all right? That's all I got to tell you guys.
Look,
I don't believe things I can't see.
What do you think is more probable? What do you think is more probable? That aliens don't exist or that they do exist and our government's been covering it up for decades?
All right, that one's probably B.
Here's proof.
100%.
Here's the
Came in
proof.
their backyard, prompting them to call 911, saying they saw creatures walking around.
Our 8 News Now investigators digging into this for weeks now, and tonight our David Charnes with the video you will only see on 8 News Now. David?
Right, Denise, sources telling the 8 News Now investigators that several agencies believe something landed or crashed. Whether it was non-humans or not, it certainly scared the people living on this property. Now, before we show you that video, listen to their call for help.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually we terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. They're like 8 foot. 9
Bro,
feet,
that's
10
one of
foot
my
tall.
people, I can tell.
They're like,
9 foot,
like
10
aliens
foot.
to us.
Fucking O'Neill
Big
Cruz
eyes,
is in
they
his
have big eyes,
backyard.
like I can't explain it. And big mouth. They're shiny eyes and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
Bro, get some pictures, man.
Okay.
She's like,
Well, the 8
okay.
News Now investigators obtaining video as officers then responded to the call you just heard. You'll see the officers also saw something in the sky that night, but the big question is, what was it, and is it all connected?
Leave her alone.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro Police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
There's like an 8 foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm so nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. Everyone saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big
Do
creature?
we get to see anything? Like, how does this clip end?
Guys, one of my partners said
You
they
don't
saw
actually
something.
get to see it.
You don't actually get to see it.
All right, cut out of this bullshit. I'm tired of hearing his firsthand account. It's 2023, man. Get a cell phone. Shoot it. Get a gun. Shoot it.
I wouldn't shoot it.
Well, I want to at least see a picture of it. How does that whole encounter take place?
And you don't whip out your phone.
Of course.
And yeah,
I would do that way before I called 911.
It's got to be like a raccoon in a tree, right? He's just like looking at a raccoon's eyes in a tree.
Cue the leprechaun video.
Oh, God. That's amazing. That is an amazing video.
Man, any chance I have to call back that video, I just take it.
So
It's so
good.
great. You believe in leprechaun? Let me say, yeah!
Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't know. It is strange, right? That weird light in the sky, and then a couple minutes later, hey, you got these 8 foot dudes in my backyard.
8 foot aliens in my backyard.
Yeah, I mean, it is a weird conundrum, right? Like for anybody who's familiar with Fermi's paradox, I believe it basically says that if aliens existed, we would know by now.
They would have been here by now.
Or we would have proof of some sort.
Yeah.
Which logically makes a lot of sense to me. But the universe is a big place. You know, like imagine the counter to that of some inhabitable planet far off in the galaxy thinking the exact same thing about us.
Right.
Like, oh, if other human life form existed, we would have seen it by now.
Right.
Like, well, we haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, it seems pretty egotistical to think that we're the only things that exist.
Yeah. Well, just maybe more of a limited framework of things. Like there's just, you can't know what you don't know.
Right.
Right. So if you claim things that you don't know to be true.
Well, the counter is then how it's pretty egotistical to believe that there's no creator.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is
I think it's good to have an open mind about that stuff.
I think it's good to have an open mind too.
I think it's good to not be on one side or the other.
Yeah, I think being open-minded about it is like the right way to frame it, because I feel like people are very dogmatic one way or the other of like, no, this is scripture and you should follow it, and we're all going to heaven or hell, or what are you talking about?
We're just
these
gonna rot in the
magical
ground.
things. Yeah, these things don't exist.
Right.
We just die and become worm food.
It doesn't have to be absolutes. People love absolutes. They love always and never.
Our brain's kind of wired that way.
Doesn't have to be.
No, doesn't have to be. You know, sometimes during a tournament series for the summer, you can just say, hey, I want to play cash games. And that's okay. I don't live in your black and white world.
And then if you want to jam ace jack for 13 for the freeze out, you can.
12 and a half.
Sure. I mean, it's fine. I didn't say it was a problem. I'm just
Well,
saying you went to
you're-
go play a tournament.
He had a tone.
No, I didn't.
He had a tone.
I don't like your tone, sir.
You might have had a tone.
He
I
had
didn't
a
have
bit of a
little
tone there.
I was saying you could also play tournaments at the same time because you did.
Oh, you were lying. Maybe I could have done something other
You
than
can't do
jam.
anything else differently. You did great.
All right. As long as
You
we're
did
on
great.
the same
It's
page
like
here.
it's nice when you can actually like play a day of a tournament and like even if you lose, no, there was no real error being made. It's like, well, I just kind of did what I had to do, and that's it.
I had a party.
For 5 minutes.
I lasted 2 tables.
Nice.
2 whole tables. I drew the big blind on my first table because, you know.
Did you ask for a refund like Kane?
I should have. I fucking should have.
Martin went off, bro.
I should have. Actually,
I think I love Martin, and Martin's my homie. But I think he's actually in the wrong there, obviously. I mean, not obviously, but like, it's...
Yeah, Kane did everything within his rights.
Yeah,
I think Martin's fine to make fun of him for it.
No, of course.
But he's not right to imply that like he's scamming in some capacity.
Yeah, I agree.
What does he mean that it wasn't random, though?
Okay, this is actually... Kane actually points out a pretty big flaw in the system, and hopefully it's something that WSOP very quickly corrects. But when you allow day 2 registration like this, obviously you're going to have an influx of players who come in. The tournament hasn't started yet, and the WSOP policy for when beginning new tables is to go around and take the big blind from all of the existing tables to accommodate however many new tables they need to open, right?
They take next big blind.
Correct. But there is no next big blind because the tournament hasn't started yet, so it's just the current big blind. So what ended up happening was, you know, there was something like 8 tables remaining or some shit like that. They go around and they take 8 next big blinds, and then, you know, need more or whatever. So now they start pulling random seats. But the whole time it should have just been high card at every single table.
Yeah.
And then you take whoever drives the highest card, whatever position that is. That's true randomness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they were just adhering to the general policy of what happens when the tournament's already started.
So why does that make Kane the big blind?
Because there's 7 seat cards, right?
Well, it doesn't.
5 of them are big blinds.
Correct.
So you're gonna have a chance of 5 out of 7, and you're gonna pluck a big blind.
It's still random to the people who late regged, but it's not random to the position that they're going to get.
Yeah.
So why is he unhappy?
Because you
should be punished for max late regging.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like you're almost guaranteed to get in the big blind if you max late reg, which shouldn't be a thing.
And you're losing what? 9%
Right. More
of your
importantly, not only are they being punished, but the people who were actually the big blind are all being rewarded because now only one of them is going to draw the blind.
Because they're just getting put in a random table.
So all of this stuff is within the rules that were already set, correct?
No. It was a misapplication on WSOP's behalf.
Oh, so he actually has like a right to be upset.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Fair.
So if the tournament was running, then I don't know. You know what? I don't even know if that's a reasonable stance.
I think if this is all within the rules prior,
actually,
and then you max.
You know what? I take it back. I take it back. That's not even a reasonable stance because I was thinking about how they sat people who late regged in the 25K 6 max. They high carded. After the hand ended, they would so you would draw a table, you would go to that table, and then they would high card, and you would get a random seat.
They did that last year. I remember when I played the 25K, they high carded. They said high card, and then someone had to keep getting voted off the island. The same seat get voted off. We made jokes about it.
Right. So it sounds as though if Kane's report is accurate, it sounds as though what happened is whatever floor was running there made the mistake of taking the next big blind, which was the old policy, or maybe the policy that they utilize in like bigger field events. Because like in bigger field events, when they know that they're just opening a bunch of tables, they'll proactively take the next big blind. So you're not actually drawing the big blind as you register, right? So think in terms of like the Millie Maker, for example. Whenever they want to open new tables so that all the late entrants don't end up at the same table, they'll just constantly be taking new big blinds, starting new tables over and over and over again, and then there'll be an open seat at like, you know, a dozen or 2 dozen or 20 tables or something like that. By the time you draw that seat, it's just random, right? It could be the small blind, it could be the button, it could be the under the gun. It doesn't really matter, right?
Yep.
But because the tournament wasn't running in this instance, now whenever you take the next big blind, all you get are big blinds across the board. So it sounds as though somebody just executed the improper policy for the time of or the stage of the tournament.
So he does have a right to be upset about this one.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
He does.
that's why we said like Martin's probably wrong for calling him out, but he's fine to make fun of him for now wanting a refund. Like his EV's not. He wasn't that small of a winner in the field. that drawing the big blind was going to somehow make him like neutral EV or losing. I don't think.
Yeah, I just assume principally, and not the refund part, but what he's talking about with the way that the system is a fair take.
Yeah, it is extremely fair.
Yeah,
like he's definitely not wrong here.
Right.
Nowhere near.
I just wonder if he could have been. I wonder if his complaint could have been heard to the degree where they corrected it in real time rather than issuing a refund.
I think it was on its way of that happening.
Yeah, because it seemed like they delayed the start.
Yeah, it seemed like, I don't know, from what I read, it seemed like it was on its way to happening, and then Kane was like, "Fuck it,
I'll just take a refund."
Yeah, that's what I read, what I thought, but I'm not. I could be wrong.
Yeah. I mean, completely reasonable, of course, but also, it's also kind of shitty too because he now kind of gets to make a conscious decision about how much EV he's winning or losing. It's basically like a small free roll for Kane, right? So say he drew not only the big blind but an awful table, snap refund. Say he drew the big blind but like a great table. Then all of a sudden it's like just really loud complaining. Right?
Yeah, I didn't even look at it from like a free roll point of view.
I mean, it's very small, and I don't even fault him for taking it.
And
so I'm not even being critical of Kane in this instance.
We don't even know if he had a seat card yet. Also,
I'm not even being critical. I'm just kind of demonstrating how you could game the system in this particular way, I suppose. And I don't know what WSOP's policy is in general. I know that you're allotted like one refund, no questions asked, as long as you haven't been dealt in. And that kind of sucks for these high rollers because people are going to max late reg them a lot. And if you just don't like your draw, like that just becomes a situation where it's like nobody's making a lot of money in these fields anyway.
Shit, in fucking PCA, you get to see your table draw before you even sit down. The second you register, you know everybody at your table. Let me tell you something.
And it's multiple day ones, right?
For PCA? No, it was just a 120. Oh, I'm talking about 25K. But
Me too.
The 10K.
No, 10K was only one day one.
No, 10K was two because
10K was two.
Because I rebought on day two for 20 big blinds.
Yeah, you're right.
I think there's only one day one for
the 25K was one day one, for sure.
So you can't unreg and re-reg though.
But you cannot sit at your table, or you actually can unreg. Yes, you can.
But can you re-reg? Yeah, I don't think that they would just allow that.
I'm unsure if you could re-reg.
Right. Well, being allowed to unreg is like whatever, man. Like they're sacrificing the ability to play the event to fade a tough table. So that kind of like is it self-polices, I guess.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's a special event. Like you can be winning a lot in that field. But like in the average 25K plus at the WSOP, there aren't going to be massive winners.
It's like he's not going to do that if he's maxing the main.
Right. Exactly. That's a great example. Right?
Just like, I guess we gamble.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could just like look at your table draw and just like, oh, I'm going to sit down later when some of these people bust. Or something along those lines.
They drop a stack, no?
No.
Now they do, right? When you register for the WSOP.
For sure do now.
They do now at the WSOP.
Yeah,
I like
I don't
that.
know what they did at the PCA.
Yeah, I don't think they dropped it at PCA.
Oh,
at
really?
PCA, you just showed up and played.
Yeah, they didn't drop
Like
it.
Whenever you wanted, they just give you a stack.
Yeah, you got a ticket. Whenever you give them the ticket, you're in.
Yeah, no, actually, there are small ways to like chisel EV and game the system if people aren't careful and put certain restrictions in place.
But you will get made fun of by Martin.
As you should.
Get his ass, Martin.
As you should. But I do think these things are worth pointing out because it helps them. It kind of helps the operators steelman the system moving forward, right? Like they're like, oh, I didn't notice this little blind spot where you could game the system. I'll do a better job of taking that away from people. It sucks whenever it comes at the courtesy of those who aren't taking advantage of the system, right?
Yeah, it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing overall.
Generally, yeah.
It's hard to find these small edges in that sense, right? Like I wouldn't have known this. It's like, oh, okay, big blind, sure. But if I see where it comes from now.
Yeah.
Like there's just a lot of things you don't really think about until
Kane's
somebody sharp thinks about them.
Yeah, he's sharp. He's just like thinking about shit that way. It's good to point it out.
No, that's a flaw. That's something that needs to be changed.
Yeah. I agree.
And whatever.
Other flaws that need to be changed is registering for these fucking events to begin with. I gotta tell you, boys.
fucking
gotta tell you, boys.
Is that the word? Curmudgeon?
Let me tell you,
Fucking
boys.
curmudgeon.
Let me tell you, boys, about how juicy. Oh, somebody just texted me. East Brady. I knew it started with an E.
East Brady.
That's where Jim Kelly's from.
Nice.
It's just outside Katanning. I gotta tell you, boys, it has been on and popping in these cash streets. I might cancel the pod. I give up 2 hours of gameplay every day. They're like, see you at 10 tomorrow. I'm like, noon. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we're gonna put you. You're never getting into the main game. I'm like, that's okay.
I'm having fun over here.
I'll make my own main game.
So you smashed them last night, basically?
I won a lot. I got to tell you, I joke that they build the game around me, but I'm a fucking hoot, man. I do all the things that you're supposed to do to make sure that your VIPs are happy. The only difference is sometimes I fucking get them. And yesterday,
You got him.
I got them. Played a big pot, which honestly, it's a pretty tough spot the more that I think about it for all parties involved that aren't me. I think my decision is pretty trivial, but it goes. We're playing 100, 17K stack. Opens under the gun. The button 3 bets the 1300 and has a 90K stack, and I'm in the big blind with King 9 of diamonds. We're in,
Sure.
Like all you fucking nerds out there.
When I read this hand history, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, man, Berkey's just flicking it in, just saying, fuck you
it's
guys.
$1,300. I have 100,000 in front of me. Okay, like I showed it to Rampage, and he's like, "Wow, we're really just fucking gambling." It's like, you fucking nerds. Put down your devices for 3 seconds and just look around at the gift that you've been given. Not one other person at my table has ever looked at a solve before. You think I should just fold the King 9 of diamonds? Or maybe we mix it up a little bit.
But the wizard says.
Yeah. Fuck the wizard.
That's literally what my thing is in my Twitch chat for a command for the wizard. It's like !wizard, and it's just fuck the wizard.
Yeah. Fuck the wizard. Fuck the man behind the curtain. We're in. And we're not 4-betting because he probably has a good goddamn hand.
We just try to hit big.
Yeah, we're trying to flop big, baby. We try to get in there mixed up. You know what? Maybe I'm bleeding 1,300 a little bit, but goddamn it, I'm going to take my chances after we see a flop turn in river.
This is how you get back in the game.
That's how you get back in the game. This is how you get the golden throne at the Bellagio.
The Bellagio.
So it comes King 5, 3, 2 diamonds. Dream. Exactly what we were looking for.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty close, yeah.
It's up there. I check. Original razor under the gun checks. Button bets like pot. I'm like, oof. I don't know why you're doing that, sir. This is a good board for you. Maybe third pot would be good, but he just went for it. So he has a good hand. He says, good hand, give me money now. I'm like, okay, well, we're going to try to maybe improve a little bit. Just call. Under the gun goes, no, better hand, give me money now. All in 17K. So it goes like 3,200 call, jam for 17K. And I was talking to Landon about this. I was like, well, he basically should just be playing call with range on the button because my range is super weak, but the hands that can continue versus raise are just nutted, right? So it's like my range overall is like pretty weak. Of course, I have a lot of flush draws and shit like that, but I also just have middle and bottom set like in full.
Sure.
Well, I do.
What I'm saying is combinatorically, with the amount of hands you're also gambling with, you don't just only have sets.
Well, I also have a lot of hands that are just like drawing dead.
You have King Jack, you have King Queen.
Yeah, these hands are just like largely drawing dead.
The tournament players are going to exit. We'll let Landon and Berkey finish this up. I got people to entertain, man.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, like my one pair of hands are largely just drawing dead. When he has like ace king, aces, hands that are willing to put in the money.
Yeah, of course.
And they're not doing all that well against his big draws either. If he has like not flush draws, gut shot flush draws, open-ended flush, he could have like 6, 7 of diamonds. He could have the pair plus diamond draws himself, like king, queen of diamonds, shit like that, right? So,
well, when you don't have king, 9 of diamonds, sure.
Correct, yeah. So like it becomes one of those things where it's like, how should his range now play when he has 2 full pots behind the 17K raise? And I mean, maybe you can just click. That's pretty no fun when you get jammed on, though.
What's the difference between jamming yourself and clicking?
Putting in 2 pots and expecting to get called by worse.
I mean, I guess you're not really expecting to get not a call by worse from you, but just protecting equity versus the guy that's already all in.
In
you know
what
what I mean?
regard?
Like, if he just has
you're
like
beat by that range, a reasonable amount.
Well, it depends. Like, kinda. He could just have draws too. He could have queen jack of diamonds.
Right, now lay that over my range, right? So if you're beating that range, then I'm more concentrated the hands that beat you. If you're losing to that range, then I'm more concentrated the hands that are drawing dead versus you. Or drawing thin.
You also just are going to be more concentrated having one pair, right? Like if he has queen jack of diamonds, it's likely you have a king after calling pot.
Wait,
if the jammer, jammer goes all in, it's likely he has a combo draw or like nut flush draw or top pair plus for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So when he has top pair plus for sure in these draws, and you have a hand that you're trying to protect.
Well, I mean, to be fair, not to get too deep into the meta here, but I don't think he's check jamming one pair ever.
Okay. So now he has
like sets and draws.
He has sets and draws.
Right.
Okay. So if he
then my range is like sets, draws, and one pair.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty nasty. I can understand why people jam to just not make any more decisions. Right?
Yeah, agreed.
Just put the money in.
It's just sheer protection.
Right.
From a value standpoint, though, I think you probably want to play a turn and try to get more money out of draws in one pair.
Is it ever possible? Nah, probably not. If he calls and then like you call, and then turn brick,
turn is now 2 SPR if it goes call.
Sure, let's call it turn. Let's look at like the worst possible turn, I guess, and best possible turn, right?
Yeah.
Worst possible turn being like queen of diamonds.
Sure.
Check. River, if you bet, he now can fold if he has one pair. Because
pair, no
you're
diamond.
not bluffing into the dry side.
Right, yeah.
Like,
yeah. He could fold one pair, no diamond. He might have to make some hero adjustments.
Right. Best possible turn, let's call it deuce offsuit. You check. And he has a hand that he wants to protect from the draws in the one pair. He probably can just bet, like call it 2/3 pot or like whatever GO2 is.
GO2 I think is like
50, 60%.
2 SPR, probably something like 45, yeah.
Sure. So now when he bets, if you have your pair plus draws, you can't just fold them and you're kind of in a nasty spot.
Correct.
Where like if you have, call it jack 10 of diamonds and you face bet, you're like, well...
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful spot, like where it's just turn brick, I check, and he bets 40% pot. Like I'm pretty in the cage. Now I can only really continue with combo draws, I think.
Combo draw pair plus.
Yeah.
And then like you very rarely, if not ever,
it also
2 pair plus.
Also by him jamming, it takes away the ability for me to jam those exact hands. A hand like ace 3 of diamonds, a hand like 7-6 of diamonds.
If he jams, you do have to call off probably.
7-6 of diamonds, I think I have to fold.
Sure, but ace 3 of diamonds, I think
ace 3 of diamonds, I would have to call, and king X of diamonds, I have to call.
Which is kind of nice, but at the same time, you can get wrecked pretty bad. Not you, the guy that's jamming can get wrecked pretty bad.
Yeah. So I ran this last night. When I have pair plus flush draw, I'm just a favorite versus his range because it's devoid of sets. So he's jamming worse flush draws. He's jamming better flush draws, and he's jamming like King X plus. But there probably isn't enough King X. There isn't enough of a concentration to King X there as opposed to aces, where my equity gets reduced.
You most certainly want him to have aces instead of a king.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I think in hindsight, potentially in position call, close action. Well, he jammed, sorry, not close action, because then you get the close action. Because it goes check, pot, call, all in. You now, after facing call, with your hand, it's like not a big deal, right? But call, like if you have jack 10 of diamonds, are you just all in?
No, honestly, I think I have to like really strongly consider a fold.
With combo draw?
Jack 10 of diamonds is not a combo draw.
It's king 9, right?
No, that would give me 2 pair. It's king 5-3.
Ooh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, you probably have to fold.
Yeah.
You think you're fucked?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to have like, if you have ace 4 of diamonds, then let's say you peel.
I probably have to jam.
You just
that
have
hand,
to jam it.
which is really shitty because he can just have king X of diamonds, and I'm not doing that well.
No, and the other guy that's all in already has a good hand.
Mm-hmm.
This guy's already saying, yo, like, I have a good hand.
Right.
The guy on the button flatted aces?
No, he 3-bet parade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the more I think about it, call makes sense. And then on texture changing cards, you're basically allowed to play pretty face up because you're not incentivized to bluff into a dry side.
Correct. I think all that's very accurate, and we just have to be pretty mindful when we're playing like a 2,000 big blind pot.
Or you could just gamble.
Or gamble.
Yeah.
We all gambled.
Everybody gambled.
So I faced the jam, and I obviously just like snap called.
I think it's hard to find the flat from aces in game facing jam.
Agreed. I agree. I don't think he misplayed the hand at all.
Well, I mean,
okay, I shouldn't say that. Maybe upon further inspection, I think that like there are better decisions to be made. But like I think the jam is totally justified.
If he thinks you're gonna call off a king, if he thinks you're gonna call off king queen, where you're just like, fuck it, but you're not.
Bro, I would never.
Sure,
not
but
in a
if you
million
think
years.
that someone's gonna call a king, I get it.
Yeah.
Because you don't block it, but at the same time, you're just risking so much to probably be wrong.
It's funny because it seems like a very small nuanced take, but the difference between having king queen of spades there versus like king 9 of diamonds is probably 10 to 15% in equity.
Yeah, I mean, you just want to be able to make a 5-card hand.
But yeah, it's just the massive difference between me being like a 2 or 3 point equity favorite versus the button jammer, as opposed to me being like a 5 to 8 point equity deficit versus the button jammer.
Yeah, well, with your hand, you're never dead. Being dead
Correct.
is an issue, especially when the guy that's all in probably has a really good
Not
hand.
only am I never dead, but I'm ahead a good portion. Ahead or flipping.
Sure.
Right? Like I'm stone flipping against black aces.
Yeah.
And I'm ahead of like nut flush draws. I'm ahead of 7-6. I have 7-6 of diamonds dead to 4 outs, I guess.
Sure.
Right? So it's like there are a lot of scenarios that can present themselves where you're just nutted by having top pair and a flush draw.
Well, that's the idea of like robust equity versus not.
Right.
You're just always going to be able to see 5 cards.
Yeah. Very different scenario if it's like king 5-3, king 3 of diamonds, and I have like 5-6 of diamonds. You don't feel so good about.
You could be wrecked.
Correct.
Really bad.
Exactly. You don't feel so good about like snapping off.
You probably have to fold flop.
A lot more often.
After
for
like
sure.
pot, you probably call. This guy jams, he calls. You're like, well, I could just be dead.
Yeah.
You never want to just be dead.
Right. You're blocking like his combo draws. You're reducing those from being in range, which are the only ones that you dominate now.
It's funny because I guess the old maxim of always leave yourself out applies a lot in this instance, but not when you're bluffing on a turn in like a polarized spot.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
You're
yeah.
like, you want to leave yourself out in these big pots where they can have better hands than you and you can
Yeah.
still win and do well.
Yeah.
But if you're bluffing someone heads up, you just don't want to bet fold equity.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right. Right. And I think, I think strategically in game, I wouldn't have found this, but I think like if it goes call, diamond falls on turn, I think I have like a 10% block there.
You probably lead a ton.
Yeah.
He's pretty devoid of flushes. You have some good flushes.
I think he has nut flushes.
Yes, some, sure.
Like ace queen of diamonds shouldn't just be all in there.
Maybe it just goes check, block, river. But like you're not incentivized to bluff anymore.
I think you still want to find ways to be all in. Right? You only have 2 SPR.
But what does 10% accomplish?
Just gives you the betting lead again so that you can, make some sort of large wager on the end.
You can still do that to check, right?
Kind of, but like there's a lot less bluffs in your range at that point, I think.
It's like, let's say this guy on button, instead of having black aces, has ace of diamonds, ace, right? And then goes call.
Yeah, maybe 10% is not the correct size. It might be quarter.
It might
that way
be-
you set up 1 SPR on river.
Yeah, I just think it's probably a spot where it's not that you necessarily have bluffs because of the dry side as a whole, but you have to try to find ways to still get money with your good hands.
Yeah.
And you're never devoid of good hands.
Yeah. Also, my hand probably, in theory, just jams on flop when it goes call. Because
it's brutal. Because like when you get called off, like you're doing all right. Of course, you're never in a bad shape.
well, my hand's doing better than like. It might even be doing better than like pocket fives, Because when he just calls, he's going to have kings. Sorry, not doing better than 5s,
Sure.
but it might make for a better jam than 5s.
Sure, you want to unblock top pair.
Well, not just that, but yeah, it's a counterbalance, right? When you rejam pocket 5s, you just get snapped off by pocket kings sometimes and you're dead, but you were going to go broke anyway. Alternatively, you unblock top pair.
It's like, it seems like a spot on turn where you don't really have bluffs because when it goes pot call, you're not supposed to. You just have really good hands.
Yeah.
But you're not really worried about that. More so trying to capitalize on your opponent making a mistake facing a lead.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, he has black aces and faces B20. He should just be folding.
Yeah.
But he
Or
won't fold.
like he has the ace of diamonds and you just want to capture that equity. Of
Exactly.
him
Like
drawing.
he just has to draw anyways.
Correct.
Where he's going to check back turn a ton after a diamond hits anyways.
Yeah,
It's like, why would you not want to get a free card and maybe make a 5-card hand?
Yeah. So pretty exploitative regardless.
Maybe it's just good anyway.
It's also just a 3-way pot with an all-in, and like there's just so many weird dynamics in meta taking place here that it really does alter things.
Yeah, the wizard's not going to help you here.
Right. Yeah. Hey, that's why we fucking get in these streets, man.
Yeah.
Play a little street poker, you know? We make it hard on ourselves so that others can have a good time. And then sometimes you get rewarded.
Well, by tough on yourself, you just had top pair and a flush on a sick pot, and then you won.
That wasn't right. That wasn't going to be a tough strategic decision for me, but it could have just came King 5-3 rainbow, right, with 1 diamond, where now I have to make tough choices with top pair, right? And that's something that I think like good players who are giving up some EV are willing to do. Find situations where you're way too splashy pre, and then just like not putting in a lot of money with hands that theoretically should put a lot of money in post.
It's one of those spots where it doesn't matter how good you are if you don't get to play. It's like, congrats, like you're really good at poker, but like you're not going to get to play the game because you're busy bragging about how good you are.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Take your sim and go fuck off.
There are a lot of guys in that game that I truly enjoy as people and don't even bother me that much to play with, but they just never allow themselves to get out of line and they don't have seats because of it.
Yeah, you have to be willing to just like blast it off either appropriately or inappropriately.
Like if no one in the game can see how they're making money from you, you're going to lose your ability to play.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, shout out to Lewis today, who's on day 3 of the 25K.
He had to play the 25K because he couldn't play Bobby's.
Yeah, the kid's so fucking good, man. Like he sits with 100 big blinds and doesn't give away one goddamn penny. Like enjoy your tournament.
That's why you play tournaments.
I hope you win the fucking thing for 1.7 or
He
what
and
it
Mike,
is.
baby, pray for bro.
Pray for bro.
He's taking my bit, but I'll let you have it.
Good luck to everybody who's still out there. I guess good luck to everybody who's grinding the Gladiator. It seems like the next few days are basically off for no limit players from
There
WSOP.
is a 3K 6 max at the win.
Good luck to you in that, young man.
I'll probably do that after I go back home.
You will probably do
shower,
that.
Yeah.
I also need to go home because I forgot my book bag. So we're going to get out of here. I am going to get my shit together and head back to the Bellagio and clock in. We'll be back tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Another giveaway Friday. For anybody out there who's a member, we are going to be giving away our tag team seats for one Conrad Simpson and Landon Tice. Be sure to join us tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Come loaded with Conrad and Landon trivia. We'll also be giving away some more WPT SummerSlam seats. Click that link in the description below. Use up sign-up code Berkey. Get upwards of a $1,200 deposit bonus if you guys are in a qualifying territory.
Feels like favoritism that it's promo code Berkey.
It does, but that's okay. Until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Peace.
Peace.